Rose Scoville's story doesn't start here, in tech gear and running shoes. It starts here, on the couch.
You know, I wouldn't run unless I was being chased by a big, hairy, scary person, and even then I wouldn't, because I wouldn't get very far anyway.
That was the running joke until 2008, when at the age of 32, Rose was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
For me, it was a life-changing thing. I don't know that anything else would have been a big enough kick in the pants.
So Rose started walking 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week, on a treadmill she'd owned for 3 years but never used. She walked a couple of 5Ks, and then a few months later, a mammoth challenge from a friend to walk the '09 mini marathon.
So this is my first mini marathon bib. I was walking, I was in Corral Z. I had no idea how long it was gonna take me.
She walked every step and finished in 3 hours, 19 minutes. From there, Rose was hooked on racing. Since then, she's completed more than 120 5Ks, half marathons, and marathons. She's done a 100-miler bike race, multiple distance triathlons, and is currently training for a half Ironman this summer. She's sentimental about the accomplishments, too, keeping a corkboard in her office with the current season's racing bibs.
This entire space will be taken up by the end of the year.
And a quilt in her living room with T-shirts from her inaugural season 6 years ago. When you ask her for motivation to get out the door and hit the road, she says the trick is to set a goal and train.
You can do this. You really can.
My favorite part of playing chess is that you get to take all the energy out of the day into going better.
I'm a novice. I learned the game. I like the game, but I learned it specifically for this event.
Check, check, check.
I fully expect to lose, so there's no nervousness about it.
I can still get you.
The competitiveness of the officers.
I really want to get that right.
One of them in particular, he was on the internet, downloading the application on his phone so that he could practice and be prepared for the event.
It's worth it.
One of the goals that I've had is to change the perception of the police as adversaries. Oh, what did I do that for?
It also gives you an opinion. Instead of most people thinking cops are bad, they're actually good people.
Good game, man.
Last night, sometime in the middle of the night, somebody came up here and vandalized 5 of our vehicles, one of those being mine.
Brian Raftery works at the Salvation Army Rehabilitation Center. He says 3 tires on his car were slashed.
I was a little upset at first, but one of my friends was generous enough. He runs a body shop, and he had 4 tires that just so happened to be the size that I needed.
While we were there, a maintenance worker was replacing 2 tires on this van. But that was just part of the damage. The glass on the center's thrift store was shattered too.
We don't know who did it, why they did it.
Danny Willis is the director of operations for the rehabilitation center. He says the crime hit them at a time when the organization is in need of financial support.
It's hard to keep these doors open right now. So, added expenses like this, they really hurt us.
But Willis says the organization goes out of its way to help the community.
We got black with orange.
And just this weekend, that's what they did. They teamed up with several organizations to help kids in Fountain Square go back to school. At the Saturday event, the Salvation Army gave away 500 backpacks filled with school supplies.
All we do is help the community. We have no reason to harm anyone.
Raftery says the crime is not going to stop them from helping.
It's unfortunate, but God's with us, shows his favor, and really I feel sorry for the individual that did it.
Peek through a window of this towering room, you'll see boxes, bars, and bouncing.
It's just run, jump, climb, have a good time. It's essentially what it is just all of that, and then some.
Meet Aaron Stoyerwald, a Central Indiana guru of parkour, roughly defined as the science or sport or art of moving quickly over, under, or around whatever's in your way.
Are you guys okay? You guys good? You all right?
Stoyerwald runs Base Parkour, BASE for balance, agility, strength, and endurance. One focus is finding fitness through fun, or fun through fitness, whichever.
Of course, there's some really hard work. Usually I'm dripping wet.
Michelle Hewitt calls it an outstanding workout where everyone feels welcome.
I asked the teacher actually, is it okay for girls? And he's like, yeah.
Bob Myers of Fisher's got a similar answer when asking about age. His son tried parkour first.
He started doing it, and I said, I need some exercise too. I've been trying to get in shape on my own, doing the treadmill, going for walks, and just wasn't doing it. So I saw people my age in here as well. So I thought, well, if they can be in here, so can I.
As for the highest flyers, they insist it's not a competition with anyone other than yourself.
Good means comprehending your own movement, so being able to surpass obstacles efficiently and safely.
Christian Willems is so good at it that he helps train police officers.
It's kind of intimidating, but we make friends, and when we're outside on the streets doing things, they recognize us, and they're like, oh, hey, I know what this is. It's pretty cool.
Storiewald is proud of his highest flying proteges, but it seems he may be even more pleased when someone new vaults over their fears and takes on the challenge.
You don't need to flip, trick, and spin to be able to do parkour. If you're not afraid to walk on the concrete and walk upstairs, then you should be able to do parkour.
Good job, guys. Good work. Good evening, Lori. All of the victims being treated for their injuries have been evaluated and released from Marion General Hospital. Some 1,600 employees work here at the GM plant making hoods, fenders, and doors for the General Motors product. Now, one of the employees injured in today's blast told me he's lucky to be alive.
It's just unfortunate things happen the way they did.
Nearly 5 hours after he was rushed to Marion General Hospital, Dwayne Stamper walked out on his own carrying a bag of clothes and his boots. He was one of the 6 people injured during Tuesday's explosion.
Well, we just heard a big boom and everybody went running to find out what the problem was. Then we saw the gas throughout the air. Security and everybody come over, done everything they could as quick as we could.
Stamper told me he's worked at the plant for 15 years, and this is the first time something like this has happened.
Our union, everybody does everything they can to keep everybody safe, and everybody's on top of it all the time.
Stamper injured his right leg, as you can see, trying to help his co-workers after the explosion. The Marion coroner confirmed one of them, 48-year-old James L. Gibson, died of his injuries.
This has been such a great plant for us since the 1950s, and the great track record when it comes to safety, and when you hear of a loss like this, it really affects the whole community.
Jennifer Smithers came to comfort Stamper in his time of need. I can see the emotion in your face. How grateful are you?
Very, very grateful.
Chris Johnson told me he's also grateful. He was working inside the plant and heard the explosion, but wasn't hurt.
My wife says a prayer for me every day, and we take it lightly, but, we never know when we're going to go to work and not come home, and that's really sad.
And late this afternoon, a General Motors spokesperson told me that third shift has been canceled except for maintenance and shipping drivers. As for first shift tomorrow, everyone is expected to return back to work. Now, Dwayne Stamper told me he wants people to pray for James Gibson's family and the rest of the General Motors family. Reporting in Marion, I'm Daniel Miller, 24-Hour News 8. And this is one of the blue glow sticks that was used at tonight's vigil. The vice president of the FOP, Rick Snyder, said, "You and I have to help Officer Wren's life and death stand for something." Reporting live tonight in Fountain Square, I'm Daniel Miller, 24-Hour News 8.